get it. Fans are tired, frustrated, and borderline ready to give up on this entire saga surrounding the veteran quarterback. He's a four-time MVP, one of the greatest to ever play the game, and yet, here we are, deep into the offseason, still with no signature on the dotted line. Steelers Nation especially is getting restless. Every day that passes without a decision feels like a missed opportunity to build chemistry, establish leadership, and lay the foundation for what could be a defining year. And yeah, some folks have already written him off, convinced that he's not coming, that he's just stringing the team along. But I'm not there yet. I still believe he's going to sign. I still believe that by the time the dust settles, he's going to be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2025. Now, I know what you're thinking. If he wanted to be here so badly, why hasn't he signed yet? What's the holdup? Is he really just weighing options, or is he not interested at all? It's a fair question, but when you look deeper into the situation, it's not that simple. In fact, I think there's a very real chance that he does want to join the Steelers, but he's just not ready to make that commitment without knowing exactly what kind of team he'd be stepping into. Think about it. A player of his caliber isn't going to risk the final years of his career joining a team that's rebuilding or lacking in direction. He wants to win. He wants structure. And most importantly, he wants clarity. That's why I believe he's waiting for the NFL draft before making anything official. Let's break this down. The Steelers are in an interesting spot right now. They got a head coach who's been around nearly 2 decades and has the respect of the entire league. They've got an offensive coordinator whose system is familiar to this quarterback. They've got weapons, 2 legit deep threats at wide receiver, and a defense that, when healthy, can absolutely wreck games. On paper, this team is built to compete. And yet, he still hasn't signed. Why? Well, imagine being in his shoes. You don't want to sign on the dotted line, only to see the team trade away TJ Watt or let go of George Pickens. 2 cornerstone pieces that could change the entire outlook of the roster. We've seen it happen before. Look at what went down with Kirk Cousins just last year. He signed with a new team, excited about the opportunity, only to watch them draft his replacement in the first round. That kind of move can shake a veteran's confidence in the franchise's direction. This quarterback doesn't want that surprise. He wants to know exactly who he'll be playing with, what kind of team he's leading, and what the front office's vision really is. That's why the draft matters. The NFL draft is the final big piece of the offseason puzzle. Once it's done, rosters start to lock in, depth charts take shape, and players know where they stand. And I believe that's exactly what he's waiting for. He wants to see how Pittsburgh handles that first round. Are they going to grab a weapon for him? Maybe a running back to pair with the current starter? Or are they going to shift gears and draft a quarterback of the future, signaling that they're not fully committed to giving him the reins in 2025? These are questions he wants answered before he ties his name to the franchise. And here's the thing. He's already started preparing like someone who plans to be a Steeler. He's had a private throwing session with one of the team's top wide receivers. Not just a casual workout. He recorded it, photographed it, and let it get out there. That's not an accident. That's a message. That's him saying, I'm serious. I'm getting ready. But I want to make sure the team is too. He wants assurance. He wants to see who the Steelers draft, how the roster shapes up, and then he'll make his move. There's also this idea floating around that maybe he's waiting for something to go wrong elsewhere. Maybe he's eyeing a divisional rival, hoping they stumble with a young quarterback like J.J. McCarthy in OTAs or camp, and that opens the door. Or maybe another team starter isn't recovering well from injury, and he sees that as an opportunity. But even with all the speculation, the most logical move still feels like Pittsburgh. Other teams are in rebuild mode, juggling new coaching staffs or facing serious cap issues. Pittsburgh, by contrast, offers stability, experience, and a chance to win now. If he truly had no interest in the Steelers, we know by now, he would have politely declined, moved on, and let the team figure out Plan B. But he hasn't. He made a 6-hour visit to the facility. He spent time with the offensive coordinator. He's watched film, helped map out schemes, and engaged with potential teammates. That doesn't sound like a guy who's disinterested. That sounds like a player who's taking his time to be sure this is the right move. And honestly, he's earned that right. After everything he's accomplished, he can take all the time he needs, especially if he thinks this might be the last stop of his career. Now, some people are wondering if this delay means retirement is on the table. And look, I won't completely rule that out. When someone takes this long, it's natural to consider every possibility. But let's look at the signs. He's training. He's talking to teams. He's working out with receivers. He's attending meetings. That's not the behavior of someone planning to hang it up. That's someone who still wants to play, but on his terms. And those terms might include waiting until after the draft. Because once it's over, once the roster is clearer, once the team's intentions are fully visible, that's when the decision will come. And I'm betting it happens between April 25th and April 30th. That sweet spot right after the draft, but before the next phase of team activities begins. If we hit May and there's still no deal, then maybe we start to rethink. But until then, I'm holding strong in my belief. Because from where I'm sitting, all the signs are pointing in one direction. He's not retired. He's not uninterested. He's just being deliberate, calculated. And for a quarterback who's built a career on reading the field, seeing every angle, and making the smart play, well, this feels exactly on brand. So, assuming he does wait until after the draft to make a decision, what does that really mean for the Steelers? In short, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, of course everyone wants clarity as early as possible. The coaching staff wants to know who's leading the offense. The receivers want to start building chemistry, and the entire locker room wants to rally around a leader. But let's be real. The first two phases of the offseason don't really require the quarterback to be fully embedded in the system just yet. The heavy lifting doesn't truly start until May 5th, when on-field sessions become more structured. Before that, it's mostly meetings, conditioning, and light rehab work. It's valuable, sure, but not critical to have every starter locked in. And even if he's not at the team facility yet, he can still train on his own, just like he's already been doing. Think about it. He's already thrown with one of the team's key receivers, and there's a decent chance he's met with others off the radar, away from cameras, away from the press. That's just how veterans of his caliber operate. They don't need the spotlight to get work done. They just need space and time. And clearly, he's using both wisely. Now, once May hits, things change. The team enters the third phase of their off-season program. More structured practices, on-field installs, position drills, offense versus defense simulations, all of it. That's when chemistry matters. That's when timing, rhythm, and cohesion start to form. But guess what? If he signs shortly after the draft, he'll be ready in time for all of it. No missed installs, no delays in the playbook, no setbacks in preparation. That's why I believe the team isn't panicking. They've mapped out this timeline. They prepared for this exact scenario. What really stands out to me is how confident the Steelers seem behind closed doors. According to reports from NFL meetings earlier this offseason, the tone inside the building is one of quiet certainty. It's like they know something the rest of us don't. It's almost as if they've already been given an informal yes from him, just not the official paperwork. And honestly, that makes sense. He's a calculated guy. If he's telling them, I'm in, as long as the draft doesn't bring any major surprises, that's not a no. That's a smart, strategic maybe. And the organization seems to be treating it that way. Now, if you're sitting there wondering, what if he backs out? What if he sees something in the draft he doesn't like and decides to walk away? That's fair, but I'm willing to bet the front office has a contingency plan. They're not going to walk into 2025 with a vacuum at quarterback. If things fall through, I fully expect them to pivot quickly to another veteran option. There are still a few quarterbacks who could become available through trades or late off-season movement. Some of them are experienced, fit the system, and wouldn't require a massive overhaul to get up to speed. I think the team's leadership is prepared for any outcome. But make no mistake, Plan A is still very much this quarterback. And when you look at their approach to the draft, it becomes even clearer. From what we've seen so far, there's been no aggressive push toward drafting a quarterback in the first round. Yes, they've done their due diligence. They've met with some mid-round prospects, hosted a couple of top 30 visits, but there's no overwhelming sense that they're targeting a top-tier quarterback early. That alone says a lot, because if they were serious about taking a quarterback at pick number 21, you'd expect to see the head coach, the general manager, and the offensive staff showing up in full force to pro days, combine interviews, all of it. But that's not what's happening. Instead, their energy seems focused elsewhere, particularly at the running back position. Two top running back prospects have been linked heavily to the team. Both have had formal meetings, both were part of the top 30 visit group, and in at least one case, the coaching staff was present at his pro day. That tells me one thing. They're building around a veteran quarterback. They're setting up an offense that doesn't just hand the keys to a rookie and hope for the best. They want someone experienced to take command of an attack, featuring two capable backs, reliable wideouts, a trusted tight end, and an offensive line that's quietly gaining momentum. And speaking of that offensive line, don't sleep on them. The coaching staff is reportedly excited about their development. They believe a particular player is finally ready to take the leap at left tackle. Another lineman, who is limited as a rookie due to injury, is expected to make a significant impact if he stays healthy. Overall, the pieces are coming together in Pittsburgh. This isn't a team looking for a miracle fix. This is a team that believes it's one final quarterback decision away from being truly competitive. That brings us back to the draft. What could they do in round one to solidify this quarterback's interest? Well, the most likely move would be adding another playmaker. Imagine pairing an elite rookie running back with the current backfield. That gives him more weapons, more flexibility, and frankly, less pressure to carry the offense all by himself. And remember, this isn't just about skill, it's about showing commitment. When you draft offense in the first round, you're saying to your quarterback, we're building around you. We want to win now. Now, yes, there's always the risk. What if they pick the running back, invest all their chips in offensive firepower, and then the quarterback still doesn't sign? That's the nightmare scenario, right? But even then, I think the team is ready. They're not going to panic. They'll shift gears, target a veteran via trade or free agency, and continue with a roster that's otherwise ready to compete. And as much as people love rookie quarterbacks, the truth is that very few of them win playoff games in year one. The Steelers know that. They want a proven leader. They want experience under center. That's why I think the current draft class of quarterbacks hasn't really caught their full attention. If you analyze their usual scouting behavior, combine interviews, pro day presence, follow-ups with the quarterback coach, it just isn't there this year. Yes, a few names were brought in for top 30 visits, but the full court press we saw back in 2022 simply hasn't materialized. This year, it feels like they're looking for a developmental guy, someone they can take in the third or fourth round, groom over time, and eventually mold into a starter. That's a smart move. It lowers the pressure, allows the roster to stay in win-now mode, and gives them future insurance. So what does that leave us? It leaves us in a holding pattern, watching, waiting, reading between the lines. But I'll say this, all the signs still point toward this quarterback suiting up for the black and gold. He's preparing. He's engaged. He's sending signals, subtle and otherwise. And the organization? They're moving like a team that knows their guy is coming. Now, if we hit May and nothing's signed, okay, we revisit the conversation. But until then, I'm betting that between April 25th and 30th, when the draft has wrapped and the dust is settled, we'll see the pen hit paper. And when that happens, Steelers Nation will finally get what they've been waiting for, a proven leader under center, ready to chase one more ring. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The Pittsburgh Steelers front office might be preparing for one of the boldest moves in recent memory, bringing in Baker Mayfield. Rumors have begun to swirl that the talented but unpredictable quarterback, currently with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, could find himself donning black and gold next season. Could this be the next chapter in Mayfield's up-and-down career? Or will it mark a career-defining moment for the Steelers, a franchise that hasn't had consistent quarterback play since Ben Roethlisberger's retirement? Mayfield's journey through the NFL has been nothing short of a roller coaster. From setting rookie records with the Cleveland Browns to leading the team to their first playoff victory in nearly 3 decades, he has shown flashes of brilliance. However, his fall from grace with the Browns and subsequent stints with the Carolina Panthers and Los Angeles Rams have left many questioning his long-term viability as a starting quarterback. Yet, Mayfield's 2023 season with the Buccaneers, which included a division title and playoff victory, could be a sign of his resurgence. Now, Mayfield stands at crossroads. Having signed a 3-year extension with Tampa Bay in March 2024, his future in Florida seems somewhat secure. But the opportunity to play for a team with a rich history like the Steelers, who have been struggling to find a suitable successor to Roethlisberger, could be too tempting to pass up. Pittsburgh has long been known for its strong defense and run game, but a high-caliber quarterback could propel them back into Super Bowl contention. Mayfield, with his knack for making big plays, might just be the spark they need. The Steelers, though, have their reservations. They've witnessed the highs and lows of quarterbacks like Mitchell Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. The question remains, can Mayfield be the consistent leader they need? His performances have often been marked by inconsistency, and while he's shown he can take over a game when necessary, his turnover issues and questionable decision-making at times have held him back. Pittsburgh's coaching staff will have to weigh the risk of signing a player with such a volatile career. Ultimately, the arrival of Baker Mayfield to Pittsburgh is not just about filling a gap at quarterback. It's about redefining the team's future. With a franchise quarterback, the Steelers could reclaim their status as perennial Super Bowl contenders. Whether or not Mayfield is that guy remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. If he does land in Pittsburgh, the football world will be watching closely. Could this be the spark that finally ignites the Steelers' next era of greatness? Or will it simply be another chapter in Mayfield's turbulent NFL journey? That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Pittsburgh Steelers, make sure to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.